recently ran my two hardest races ever, the Tahoe Ring Trail 100 and the Fat Dog 120 mile. And it's time to report to you my findings about the shoes and what helped me in those races. As you know, I have lots of Hokas. So for long races, what was my shoe choice? This is my choice actually, it's a combo. I have the Challenger. I ran 1/3 of the race with the Challenger, and then I switched to the Stinsons. So if you look at the Stinsons, they are more cushioned than the Challenger. And so the advantage was that I started with lighter shoes, and then I switched onto more cushioned shoes. And that's something you want to do, especially because even these long races, usually the start is uphill. And that's when you need the light to be light. But then even before the half of the race, I feel the need of really jumping into something that is really super comfy. And for me, the choice was the Stinsons. So let me go into the details about these two shoes actually for you. So the Challenger ATRs. Good cushioning. Let's say this is a 4 on a scale of 5, right? Compared side by side with Stinsons. There is some difference in terms of cushioning. This side is maybe more apparent, although this is darker, but you can see that there is more cushioning on the Stinsons. I really like them. They're really comfortable. What I think they could do better is that it's very breathable, and in fact too breathable. If you look at this, there is a lot of space for dust to get in. And in fact, towards when I changed it, which was again around mile 40 in both races, what I noticed was that my socks, where they were not protected by gaiters, they were really dirty, and where they were protected by gaiters, instead they were not that dirty. And if you're wondering why, well, let's put this gaiter. And so the gaiter, as you can see, covers up to here, right? So I really commend the gaiters, by the way. And the reason is dust is the #1 cause of blister. If you have the wrong shoes, that's another problem. But if you have the right shoes, and I bet that by now you know what are the right shoes for you, well, then what really makes the difference is the amount of dust that you get into your shoes. And here, you get a lot of dust inside. If you protect it with gaiters, especially in these areas here, then you will get much less dust and much less blisters. Believe me, I got 0 blisters in 220 miles of total racing on these last 2 races. So going back to the shoe, I found them to be narrow right here. So the way that I solved that is I put a shoe horn inside, I put some padding, and then I use a hair dryer to warm up this area. You have to be very careful, because you can easily melt this. At the end of the day, it's plastic material. So go with the hair dryer. This will expand a little bit with the heat, and touch it from time to time to make sure that it's not too hot. Other than that, this is a great shoe. It's a great trail shoe. Look at the threading. The sole it has a lot of traction, and after 150 miles I ran into this, it's pretty much intact. So this is a great version for trail of this shoe, which is the Clifton that I really love for anything, including the marathon. I ran the Boston Marathon in the, well, it rained a lot, and these are maybe not made for rain, but other than that, it's a great shoe even for marathon distances. So Challenger, that's my shoe for the short races. And then at some point though, after 40 miles or 35 miles, I feel like I need to jump into something even more comfortable. And so what's more comfortable? It's the Stinsons for me. Why not the Mafate, by the way? So the Mafate is this one, as you know, I have done a review of them. It's a great shoe as well. But what I found is that I really like to run with this. It's actually a little bit heavier, just to give you an idea. The size 11 for the Stinson ATR is 375 grams, which is 13.3 ounces. And the Challenger ATR is 295 grams, or 10.4 ounces. On the other hand, the Mafate speed is slightly lighter than the Stinson ATR because it's 12. Bottom line, I really like this more, and the reason is because there's more energy return. You lose a little bit of energy because of the cushioning, but if you look at this profile, what they call the rocker profile, I really think that it helps, especially, you know, in the downhill. Even if you're not a hill striker, you'll tend to do a little bit like this, and the shape really helps. They're not that flexible, though they are more flexible than the Mafate. The fact that the shape is a rolling shape, that really helps. So again, this rocker profile really helps. Other than that, I think that even in this case, and even more actually than with the Challenger, what you see here is that there is you can actually see through. You can't really see, I bet, in the video. However, I can tell you really that this is kind of a net. For a trail shoe, a lot of surfaces, a lot of races are dusty, and this is not good. Bottom line, if I had to run anything 50 miles and over, and if I had to just pick one shoe, I will pick this one, the Stinson. However, I really like to change shoes at some point and change socks. That's the perfect time for me to jump from the Challenger into these Stinsons. Again, I like to pamper my feet. My feet didn't have any blisters at the end. I could go with minimalist shoes, maybe not, because my feet actually are not made for minimalist shoes, I think. So I go for Hokas. I like Hokas. I like also other shoes, as you see from my videos. Therefore, if you need to run a very long race, like again, a Fat Dog or TRT 100, let me know what you think. At least this is my advice. Someone that started running 4 years ago and is discovering step by step what it takes and what to do to survive and to get better and better. Thank you, guys.